Mike, how you doing? Mr. Faithful. Okay, I hope everything's okay. Alright, tonight we're going to be doing some reading from the syncopation book. Okay. I'm sure that your abilities to read are pretty cool, but I'm just going to demonstrate to you my approaches on some things here. We have a choice. We can play as written, straight up and down, swung, or cut time. And I'm going to give you a choice tonight. How would you like to read? Swung with a jazz feel, straight up and down, cut time. So it's your platform, and tell me what you would like and I'll do it for you. As written. Okay. Now we have the syncopation book. I have the second edition. Now, are you familiar with the syncopation book at all, Mike? We could start where, instead of just quarter notes and eighth notes and mixtures of sixteenths and eighths, let's start on, say, page 31. Is that okay with you? It's actually lesson 12, page 30 and 31. Is that good? Now, all this is, and I'm going to take a mathematical approach at first. We're not taking anything like we're hitting the horns or we're swinging a tune or it's part of a tune. So, what we're going to do, we're going to do the math on this. First off, let's talk about it's in the bass clef, which today may write in the percussion clef. Same thing, basically. The time signature is 4/4. And the rule for time signatures is the top number indicates the number of beats per measure, and the bottom number indicates the kind of notes that receive a count or a beat. So 4/4 means there's 4 beats to a measure, and each quarter note receives 1 count or 1 beat. Now we look at the first line, and I look at that and I say there's an eighth note rest and an eighth note and 3 quarter notes. Now, the system of counting that I'm going to use here is an eighth note count, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But when I count, I want to count staccato. Staccato meaning short sounding. Instead of some people just count 1 and 2 and they make the count long, the sound long. So I'm going to count staccato, like if I were a drill sergeant, perhaps, up, 2, 3, up, that kind of thing. I make it sound the sound short. So I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the reason why I count like that, I don't want, I'm making the sound short, staccato, but don't get tight, mentally or physically. It's loose. And we're going to use an alternating stroke here. Okay, so now, I'm just going to play the first measure. And I'm going to give myself a couple beats to come in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Simple. Here's the math. If I were to add up all the notes, you have an eighth note rest and an eighth note, that equals 1 quarter note. And then you have 3 quarter notes, that equals a total of 4 quarter notes. You reduce that to its lowest term, you get 1. Okay, everything here at both pages, or any of these pages, if it's in 4/4, if you add everything up mathematically, it's 4 beats. That equals 1 whole note. Okay, so now I'm going to put the metronome on, and I'm going to play. I'm going to attempt 140. I'm going to play the first line. Now, I'm not going to count it out loud, but I'm thinking counting system. I'm not thinking of humming the part of a tune, or if that's a trumpet part that I'm smacking around in a band, or I'm not improvising. I'm playing mechanically. I'm understanding how the math and the notation work inside of 4/4. Now, with that's too fast, let me know. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I played it in full strokes, and every note on my right and on my left sound the same, because there is no dynamic markings. Now, there's a ton of different ways to do these pages, but this is step number 1, understanding the notation. Any problems with the first line? You understand that? If so, we go to line 2. Now, line 2, he extends the 8th note. You have an 8th note rest, an 8th note, then 2 8th notes and 2 quarter notes. Add that up and you get 4 quarter notes. Okay? So I'm going to do it slow at first. I'm going to count staccato. I'm going to use an 8th note counting system. Okay? And I'm using full strokes. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's mechanics. Now turn the mesh on up. Is 140 too fast for you, Mike? You want me to slow it down a little bit? I have no problem. Okay, line number 2 at 140. Now, if I'm playing a little up tempo, my 6 is going to get a little lower. So I have 1. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1. Bop, 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 bop. What is that? I'm at 140. I'll go to 110. Okay. It's hard to absorb this. That's my quarter note. If you're just learning how this goes, if you really want to become right, there's another way to approach this or enter this. I can make, if at one, that's at 110, okay, and I can make each tick a count. 1 and 2 and. And that's a good way as well, because you're spacing the notation correctly, instead of as just feeling it. So let me do line 2, each tick a count of 8th note, and then I'll play 110 as the quarter note. So you have 1, 2, you got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's a good way to do it, because now you have the spacing correct. You know that for sure, because you're gauging yourself with the metronome. Now, I'm going to put it on 110, and I'm going to play that as the quarter note. That has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Line 2. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Simple. Now, I'm sure that you, unless you want me to, it's not a problem. You could do the whole page here that way. I mean, if you can't, I'll work line by line. But I want to take it to another platform if it's possible. If not, I'll stay on this. Not a problem. Would you like to go to the next platform, or you'd want to remain here for a little bit? Some things you're not uncertain of, or you want me to hit a particular line, or do the whole page? Okay. All right, good. Now, we just did that as counting 8th notes, and counting quarter notes, and we counting staccato. Now, if you want to pick up the tempo somewhat, you're going to need to feel the distance. When I say feel the distance, instead of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in, I'm going to count quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to feel the notes in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I counted quarter notes. And you can do that the whole page. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with that. I want to make reading fun and productive in a lot of different ways. And a lot of guys say, why must I learn how to read? I play, ba-da-dum-bum, and I can play that, so what do I have to read? Well, it's not that, you're going to get an audition with the Boston Pops and have a chart in front of you and read it note for note. I can take you there, it's not a problem. This is basic reading, understanding what are some of the possibilities in the math of the notation inside of a 4/4 measure. Okay, now you get a lot of teachers, especially when I first started, the local drum teacher at the music store up the road, and the guy's a shoe salesman, he's making extra money teaching some drums. And you start with the syncopation book and take page by page, week by week, until you get to the end, and then you close it. And you go to the next book. And to me, that's pretty shallow. So, I've come up with something, and it's not my idea. I got this, I have to give credit, give a shout out to Dennis Lefang. He is a good friend of mine and a really, really good drummer. And he did a couple shows here on the live site. And he did this, and I said, whoa, that's cool. And I expanded on it. And I teach it now, and it's, the students are now into the reading because it's a drum set application. And like I keep saying, I can't do a drum set application at the moment. But this here, bear with me, and I'm going to use this voice, my bass drum, and my hi-hat. Alright, so I know, in a couple of weeks we'll be on the drum set. So what I do, the first thing, is I'm going to take quarter notes. First I'm going to assign my hands and my feet to certain voices. I'm going to say, okay, right hand, you're on the ride cymbal. Left hand, you're on the snare. Bass drum, obviously. And left foot, hi-hat, or if you play double beaters or double bass drums, the left bass drum. I'm demonstrating it with, the hi-hat. So now, I'm going to do line 1 on page 30. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play quarter notes with my 4 limbs. 1, 2, 3, 4, constantly. But I'm going to assign one of those limbs to play the line. Okay, and while the other 3 limbs are just playing quarter notes. Now, when you're on the drum set, you want to blend in the bass drum and the hi-hat, or the double beaters. The double beater is going to sound a little flat. I'd rather put it on the hi-hat because it's an additional voice. So, I'm going to say, okay, snare drum, bass drum, hi-hat, you're going to play quarter notes. Right hand, I can play on the ride cymbal, the line. So I'm going to start with quarter notes. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Just sort of a fun way and a very productive way. We have somebody else in here. Who might that be? Can someone say hello? How are you? Okay, that's just a fun way. You understand that, Mike? Now I'm taking it slow. And I just did the right hand on the ride cymbal. Now I could move it over and say, okay, let me play quarter notes again. 1, 2, and say left hand, you're going to play the line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. There we go. You getting this, Mike? Who is this? It's a fun thing to do. You're developing some coordination. Let me concentrate on that. I didn't concentrate. I'm sorry. 1, 2. Left hand's going to play the line. 4. 1, 2, 3, Now, I was playing the bass drum and the hi-hat, okay, on quarter notes. All right? It's just a fun way to do it. Now, another way, and this here I got from actually the stick control book. This is how I do the stick control book at times. I take a vamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing an 8th note vamp constant, and I'm playing my bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, and my hi-hat 2 and 4. Heel so it opens, toe so it closes, heel so it opens, toe so it closes. So you can refer to this as my left hand, my bass drum, and my right and my left foot are playing an ostinato. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy. So I'm actually exercising a half a single stroke roll. I'm developing some coordination. Now, I'm going to play the line on another sound or another surface with my right hand. 1, 2, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, play it up tempo sounds pretty cool too. 1, 2, 3. That's not up tempo, but it's a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on and so forth. Now, I'm favoring the left hand using the vamp, but you want to take it here as well. Using the right hand. Using that as the ostinato with the bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4. Left foot 2 and 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to play the line with the left hand. So now, reading takes on a whole different texture. And it's a lot of fun. And it's more productive in a lot of other ways that, you know, you're exercising either the left hand or the right hand. You're developing coordination. You're splitting your brain. You're reading what's there. So that's just two different ways of, or two different approaches. Now I can get into the jazz feel and then filling in the triplets and explaining that. Would you prefer that a little bit, Mike? Instead of just straight up and down? Or whoever else is watching or listening? There's quite a few people in here. You know, some people can't have it, they don't have a chat because they're either on their iPhone, okay? And if you're on your iPhone, the chat doesn't come up. You have to come onto a computer. You're on a computer, you have the chat, the chat. Now, I don't want to be boring or anything, but, you know, that's basically simple. You can do the whole thing, the whole page like that. If there's certain things that you're not certain of, like the dot or the placement of the 16th notes and the 8th note, we can go over that as well. But what I'd like to do, and I'd like to move over to page 31. Yeah, that's 31. Let me put my glasses on. Okay? 31, I'm going to play it as written first. And I'm going to count staccato, and I'm going to play it up here, full strokes. Okay? So, we're playing it straight up and down, which means 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's legitimate. It's the way you read. It's the way the notes are placed inside of the count. So I'm going to do line 13. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we could go to the quarter note count and playing the limbs like I just demonstrated on the previous page. But what I like to do now is explain the difference between straight up and down and swung. And this is one of the lessons we're going to do next week. So you get like a little bit of a taste of it. Now, when you swing something, you'll never see this written the way you're going to interpret. If you do, it's a lot of notes. So it's unnecessary. You usually would see on a chart or in a book, it would say swing or swung. Okay. Now, what happens when I swing notation like this, my brain goes triplet. So now I'm going to think 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I read this, and all the ands that I see become the of the triplet. So I'm going to do the first line very slow. Line 13. I'll do it with one hand. Okay, just for instructional reasons. Okay, we have 1 and the, 2 and the, 3 and the, 4 and the. Now you see when I got the 3, instead of going 3 and, it was 3 the. Now when I feel it that way, it kind of opens up the distance between the downbeats, and it makes it open and relaxed and swing instead of straight up and down. So now I'm going to do 13, a little up tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, boot up. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Any questions on that one? Going once, going twice. No questions in the audience. Okay. You're fine, okay. Now that's reading. I'm going to go to the line 14. Well, actually, you know, the same thing applies with the 4 limbs. Okay, you can assign, you play quarter notes, and you assign one of the limbs to play the line, swung. Right, there's a zillion ways to do this page, and we're only going to cover just a little bit tonight. Okay, now I'm going to do line 2. 1 and the 2 and the 3, boom. 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4. 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 Now while I'm doing this, my bass drum, when I'm playing on the drum set, is feathered. Alright, and my left foot is doing heel and toe, 2 and 4. Now when I say feathered, a lot of guys don't understand that term. You know, it's like when you're playing a fusion, or you're playing heavy metal or rock or whatever it is that you play, the bass drum seems to be dominating, and it goes bam, bam. But when you're playing swung, nice and easy, like this, ding, 2, 3, 4, I blend the bass drum, I blend the ride cymbal and the hi-hat and the snare, as none of the voices are dominating. So my bass drum, when I'm playing that, is on 1, 2, 3, 4, hi-hat again, 2 and 4. Now do one more line, line 13. Okay, so we have 1 and the 2, nice and slow, 3 and the 4, and 1 and the 2 and the 3, the 4, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Any questions on that? Shoot, gentlemen. Now, 2 more ways to do it with the triplets and the swung. Now I'm not humming it as a part of a tune. Boo doo bop 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 boo boop as a trumpet part on a big band chart. I'm just mechanically explaining this, how it falls when you play a swung instead of straight up and down. The next thing I like to do is to play again the ostinato, but this time I'm going to use a triplet with no accent on a snare. Why does that keep falling on me tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm maintaining 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Again, my bass drum is 1, 2, 3, 4. My left foot is heel and toe, 2 and 4, standard. So I get this going on. 1, 2 and the 3, 4. Now I'm going to play the line down with my right hand, say on the floor tom-tom, or wherever I'd like to. 1 and the 2 and the 3. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3. Little up tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a cool way to do it, that's all. I'm still sipping coffee? Where are we going? Interesting. Man, there's a big delay in this thing. Mercy. Is it buffering on you, Mike? Let me reload it. I'm reloading it right now, Michael. Everything went away. Is there a storm someplace? Oh. Well, I kept losing it. It's still lost. Something is wrong with YouTube today because I did this afternoon, and they're supposed to record it. When I went to YouTube, it's still processing. That's 1 o'clock this afternoon, so something is not right. You know, that's what it is. It's the storage, Mike. Alright, well, again, somebody else, I mean, I really wish that somebody would say hello that's in here, so I know what I'm doing with these people. And there is a whole lot of storm, so that's interfering with the stream. What I want to do next with that, do you understand how I'm doing it against the triplet? Boy. Come on. Alright. Who's this? Okay. Alright, Mike. 2 mics tonight. Alright, what I'm going to do next, alright, if there's no streaming problem here, what I'd like to do, other than just playing the triplet here, I like to make a linear line here. So I'm not going to use a bass drum or a hi-hat. I'm just going to use my 2 hands. I could use a couple different voices, but I'm going to take the line and play it with my right hand only. That's line 13, page 31, and I'm going to think triplets. So I have. You have a question? Shoot, Mike. I'm going to do line 13 just with 1 hand. I'm going to think in triplets. I'm going to swing it. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. line 15. Okay. All right, let's do that, and then I'll show you this one. Well, first off, was it line 15 you said? That's line 15, page 31. You play every one of these lines with the triplet field counting an eighth note triplet. The first thing you need to know is how to read the line straight up and down. So let's do that first. We're on line 15. Eighth note rest and an eighth note. 1 and. Then 2 more eighth notes. 2 and. Eighth note rest. 3, then an eighth note, and then a quarter note. 4. So that's referred to as straight up and down. Let me play 15 complete, straight up and down. Say 2 measures, I guess. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Can you read it like that, Mr. Mike? Yes? Now, when I say swing, where it's a triplet feel, I immediately, my brain goes 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. So now, the first note on 15 is an eighth note rest. All the ands become the da of the triplet. So now I have on line 15, 1 and the. Then I have 2 eighth notes, 2 and the. Then 3 is an eighth note rest, 3 and the 4. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to play it in tempo. I'm going to play the line slow. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Does that help you out, Mike? All right, now, what's going to help you out a little bit more to get into the triplet zone with line 15. And you know, if I played line 15, the ding, 2, 3, 4, ba. It's a horn part. Da ba do ba ba da, da ba do ba ba da, ba ba do ba ba da. I swung it and I hit the horns. I think in the horns right now. Let me get a drink of water. Excuse me. No. Coffee, water, and cigarettes. Yeah. Good for your drumming life. Hold on, gentlemen. All right, does that straighten it out? Now, would it really help you straighten it out if you did the whole page like this? You're kind of doing a few things at one time. You know, you're doing triplets here, so you're working your hand. Yeah, man, you got your left hand going. All right, you're playing your bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4. Your left hand, left foot rather, heel and toe, 2 and 4. So what I have now is, and you can consider this the ostinato. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now I'm going to play line 15 with my right hand against this. So that's giving me sort of a foundation of a triplet. Because that's what it is. 1 and 2, 3. Now I'm going to play 15 on a different surface. 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. That'll help you. Again, 1, 2. Start with line 1. 3, 4. Line 13 actually. 1, 2, 3. You can do the whole page like that. You do it with the left hand, and then you reverse it. Doing triplets here. 1, 2, and play the line with your left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Now I really can't demonstrate the played against the jazz time. You know, like I said, there's a ton of ways to do all of these. That, you know, I've come up with my own. I've learned them from other drummers, and some are great things to do here. And especially the Alan Dawson taking this as paradiddles. With the, you know, we'll get into that on another lesson because it's kind of difficult to explain that. And we will do that as the whole lesson. Okay. Now, one more way to do this. And like I was saying before, you know, you wanted me to explain line 15, which is cool. I like the questions. It's great. I'm going to play what's written with my right hand only. Line 13. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I'm going to make it, you know, I'm not going to get into a whole scientific discussion of linear, harmonic, and all that good stuff. We're just going to accept the fact linear is a straight line. And no two voices are played at the same time. So I'm going to make this 13 a linear line. How do I do that? I just played the line with my right hand. Now I'm going to fill in the remainder of the triplet with my left hand. My right hand is going to be constant full stroke, so I hit it as an accent. My left hand is going to be sort of ghost notes, I don't want to refer to it, in a different position, lighter. So I'm going to take each downbeat by itself. I have 1 and the. Then I hit 2, 2 and the. Now I get to 3, 3 and the, and then 4, 4 and the. Let me play it in tempo. Excuse me 1 second, gentlemen.
Call from 732.
Hello. Speaking. Who is this? Listen, I'm in the middle of streaming all that. I'm in the middle of streaming on YouTube, so I can't really talk. So give me a call another time. Yeah, do that. Yeah, fine. Good. Bye. Hate it. Telemarketing. I'm going to play it up tempo a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, well, usually you don't have it. I have the phone in here. I should have taken it outside. Okay, I'm going to play 13 up tempo a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a little time. Ding, boom, boom, boom. Ding, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm thinking of that. This is the seat of the pants lesson. I don't really understand that, but I guess it's funny. Anyway, if I thought about that as a 4-measure solo, ding, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, now. I just took 4 bars. Or if I want to hit that as a horn, I'm going to hit what the horns are playing. The horns are playing bop, bop, ba da. So they got 1, 2, bop, 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 bop. I can play it on the floor tom tom, on the small tom tom, wherever I want to play. And have a whole lot of fun with it. Now, to read, I don't know when you came here, Mike, when you were listening to the lesson, but we covered a lot as far as, well, I mean, I'm playing that could be the melody. I mean, are you familiar with the jazz tunes like A Moment's Notice, ba da ba 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 doo boo da da? You can play the melody like that, or Solar by Miles Davis, ba doo boo dee ba boo boo dee doo boo down, or Blue Monk, da ba doo bing, da ba doo, and they can play the melody line. Usually, when I play something like that, if I'm reading the chart with a big band, the trumpets are hitting that. I'm hitting it right with them, and they're counting on me to hit it with them because that's where you say you're a rock guy, you're a musician, you're a drummer. I mean, I play fusion, I play rock, I play mainstream music, but my heart is into playing jazz. That's, in my opinion, jazz is one of the most it is the art, a form of drumming. I could express myself as long as I play by the rules and improvise with everybody and compliment everybody. It's an artistic thing. But if I get a call to go play Joe's Bar and Grill and we're going to do some Santana tunes and some YouTube tunes or whatever, I'll do that. Doesn't mean I'm a rock drummer. My bio? Alright. I was born. Alright, but anyway, let me finish my statement here. It's, we're not, we're musicians. Somebody calls in to play polkas, da, 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 or an Italian wedding, or some wedding. It's money, man. It's the way you make money. It's not where my heart is. My heart is, okay. About myself, I don't know, if you go visit my website, I have my bio there, but I'll talk to you about it anyway. I was maybe 11, 12 years old when I first started to play drums. And I used to live in Newark, New Jersey. And every Memorial Day they would have a parade. And, the drum corps line or the drum corps would pass by. And I seen that one year and it really fascinated me. And I said to myself, I'm going to have to do that. So I was like 11, 12 years old, too young to join the drum corps, but they, the guys like me, they seen the passion I have. And I said, they told me paradiddles and five-stroke rolls and flams and blah, blah, and all, whatever. And I had to be just like them. They were my heroes. And the one guy had a stick control book, so I bought the stick control book and said, well, this is garbage. I mean, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. So I kind of put the stick control book on the side. And then I just kept practicing and, going to school and whatever. And still in the drum corps, with the uniform and whatever. But every day that I come home from school, my drum set was in, I had a drum set back, my first drum set was in the living room. And every day I would come home, and back then we call it a phonograph, with the 33 1/3 vinyl or whatever. The drum battle with Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich. So what I did was, okay, I come home every day and have a drum battle with, to me, my heroes, Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich. And guess who won? Me. I won the drum battle. And I did this for a period of time, and I would just play, tap on everything, just constantly practice, and whatever. And then I got into a rock band. Back then it was sort of like the Beatles and the Led Zeppelin thing and, the doo-wop kind of things. And playing, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the local clubs. And then I graduated to playing 6 nights a week in the local highway clubs. Had a great time. Met a lot of good people. And I hooked up with a few musicians. We went on the road. Nothing of fame and glory or whatever. It was a show group and they carried. They were doing the Jesus Christ Superstar show, and I would go on the road doing that. So I'm not the one that was on Broadway like my friend, but we were playing the tunes from there. And through my travels, and I played with these guys for a very long time. Through my travels, you know, they'd have acts come in on the weekend, like the Shirelles, the Coasters, who else? Gene Krupa, for example. That was the highlight of my I thought that was it, man. Here's the guy I was doing drum battle with, and I met him for real. And, you know, Gene Krupa was a very small kind of guy, and he was ill at the time. But man, still, hanging out with Gene Krupa. So he invited me to do exchange 4s and 8s with him on stage, and I did that. And man, to me at that time, it don't get any better. So I played and played and played. You know, I did the thing with the Coasters, the Ink Spots. I forgot what's his name? Little Richard. Oh God. Wes Montgomery. You know, all these guys. I was in the service. Then I volunteered for the draft, and I played in the Army band. And I would play. That was my duty to play all day long. And all the musicians in the Army band would have a gig off post. So I'm playing all day and all night. Then I come home, I got married, and I started doing a lot of teaching and playing as well. And I just occasionally, at this point in time, I'm more focused on education. So I do go out and play occasionally, but it's just, it's too much of a hassle right now for me because, taking the drums, putting them in there, setting them up, and people, just don't want to pay the kind of money that they should. So I'm more into education, doing clinics. Well, yeah, there was a lot of good members in that band that I was in. I was stationed in Indianapolis, Indiana, and Savannah, Georgia. And Carter Jefferson, he was in the band. All we did was play all day long. Big band, orchestrational music, show music, jam, individual practicing. And so it was cool. It was a cool thing to do. And all I do now, at this point, I'm sure I missed a lot, so you can go to my website and check it out and ask questions if you're interested. But it's just a great thing, man, to be a musician. I'm not looking for fame and fortune. I hung out with Buddy Rich. I studied with Joe Morello for 30 years, on and off. And that was one of the highlights of my career, was Joe Morello. He wasn't only my teacher, he was a good friend. We used to just hang out, period. And he taught me a lot, not only about drums, but about life and about the music business. And like I said, I probably forgot a lot. I was with a Blood, Sweat, and Tears kind of band for a long time, a Chicago kind of band. And then the local trio, making money to survive. But anyway, that's about what I've done. And like I said, go to my website, check it out, and if you like, I'll ask questions next time you come on. We'll have a good time chatting. Well, 30 years on and off. It wasn't every week for 30 years. I go see him for, say, 6 months, and I go see him for maybe 3 months, and come back and take a lesson, and go back out on the road, and then come for another 3 months. And it was that way for 30 years, on and off. And there were some good drummers there, man. Vinny Colaiuta came in for a lesson, Danny Gottlieb, Dom Famularo, Steve Smith, all those guys. Morello was the man. You wanted to get some hands. Yeah, well, Morello was a good person. He really was. But anyway, I got to lock it up now. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 1 and 8 o'clock. No, I wasn't lucky. I was working hard. And I guess, yeah, he only lived about 10 miles away from me, Joe Morello. I guess you could say lucky. Okay? But I'm gonna close it up now. Is there any questions pertaining to the lesson tonight? Mike? Michael Lewis? Okay. Take care, Mike. And Mike, the other Mike from Michael Lewis, take care, man. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow evening. All right, we're all good. All right, see you later.